So in the last YouTube short I posted, I had complained about a documentation issue with one of Corsair's products, but I want to show you something really cool that Corsair does. So what I have in front of me are a couple of internal USB cables for the products you can see in the background. These allow these peripherals to be plugged in on the inside of the computer, connecting to USB port headers that you might normally connect the USB ports from your PC case into. And this just prevents you from having to run a cable out the back of the system and plugging it into a USB port that way, which is definitely not as clean. Typically, each header on the motherboard will have 2 rows of pins, and each row is for one USB port, so each header can connect 2 USB ports to it. Now, because each of these peripherals only needs one USB connection, it doesn't make sense to take up both rows on each of those connectors. However, that's what most peripherals actually end up doing. But Corsair has used some very simple techniques to not hog both ports, and I find that really cool. So for this style, you can see we only have one row connected. So if you have a couple of singular row connectors, you can just plug one in on the top, one in on the bottom. And I would think that you could even connect a 2-row one and just have a little bit of an overhang and plug this one into the exposed row. Either way, pretty good solution, but that's not the only solution they have. You can see here, this cable does use both rows of pins for the USB. So that seems like a problem, right? But if I take this cap off, you can see this is essentially that same header, and you'll see only one set of wires is connected to it. So basically what they're doing is they are passing the second port through. So if you have your second component, you can just plug it in right there. And that's pretty awesome. By contrast, you can see over in here, these 2 wires are both going into the same plastic block. That's because I depinned one of the connectors and stuck the pins back into another connector in order to be able to utilize both of them, which is definitely not very convenient. So yeah, this is a very simple solution, but I think it definitely deserves some praise.